Afternoon, everybody. It's Terry here. Had some thoughts and tips on laying out beds, different materials to use, how to lay them out. A few methods I've used. So this is backyard here. I've put this, I think it's called Highland or something stone in. Probably most of this has been in about 25, 30 years. Which is some of my favorite material is stone edging. It's natural, it's quick, easy to change out if you want to change the bed, make it bigger or smaller. It's very quick and easy to maneuver, and as you can see, it lasts a pretty long time. It's not perfectly straight as it used to be, but not bad for 30 years. So, and like some of my thoughts on designing a bed, you can use this is an extension cord here. So you can use this. A little chilly out today, so I didn't want to lay out very straight. But it gives you a rough idea. So that's one method. You could use an extension cord. Over here I've got a rope. And so you kind of design it, laying that out. Or a lot of people like to use the paint. The marker paint's very common. So you can spray paint that on, as here I did in the badminton court, so you can see how that looks. It's very vivid, and so you can really see what your plans are and how it's going to look like. I guess the problem is if you move it around a lot, or you're going to have white paint for about 2 to 4 weeks, but it does fade and go away. So. But if you don't get it in there just right and dig it out. Another way I've used that's very quick and easy, and you don't have to have any of these things with you, is get you a tool here, a shovel, and you can see where I've dug right here, and then I've just scratched in. And what I look for when laying out beds and so forth, look for pleasing, curves in it, where it's not too sharper curves. It just gently curves. As you can see here, most of them's pretty gentle. And also, being a landscaper that does everything, cutting grass on full service here for 41 years, you want things to be easily cut. I look at when I lay stuff in. Sometimes people put really sharp bends or angles, and it forces you to get a smaller mower or the weed eater out and do extra work each week. So interested in gradual bends, nice arches that are easy to maintain and work with. And then also as you plant, like around houses and stuff, on corners and stuff, depends what plant you're putting in, you want to make your bed big enough to put that plant in, because if it's planted too close to the house or the edge of the bed, then it looks out of proportion as that grows, and then you have to change the bed. If it's too close to the house, the plant, then you have to change, then you're wanting to pull out the bush or tree or cut that down because you planted it 5-10 years ago too close. So you want to keep these type of things in mind when you're doing laying in beds and stuff. So it's just a common mistake. Everybody seems to make them from time to time, where they place the plant wrong. It looked cute when it was little and looked like a good thing, and you put the bed, because way you lay out the bed, if you put the bed really close to the house and the corners and so forth, that will kind of make you think to plant the bush a little closer than you need, because it looks cute and it works right now, but you want to plan for 5 and 10 years out what things might look like, even further out, but because things do grow quite a bit once they get established. After the first 2 or 3 years, they really take off. I've even seen dwarf plants go pretty crazy. So these are some of the methods I've used. Garden hose, just anything. As I've gotten more experienced and stuff, I tend to use the shovel method a lot. As you can see, it's pretty fairly easy to see. This is where I just dug down, stepped on it, and pulled it out and moved it and did it again. And then over on this side here where it's a little lighter is just where I scratched it into the ground. So, and what this allows you to do is for you to visually see, and then if you're working for somebody and you're in the landscaping business, you can bring a customer out and say, you know, for instance, this extension cord, you could say, I'm thinking about laying out your bed here. Is this pleasing to you? And do you like that? And that's what it's for, so you can visually, before you commit to a bunch of work. And especially when you're, there's different ways. I'm a big fan of edging, not just edging with the shovel. That's my least favorite because I think that's the highest maintenance. I like, you know, rock is my number one, and then you can put plastic edging in and wood edging, all kinds of different things, brick, concrete block, and stand it up on the edge. The problem with putting things in the ground, anytime you install anything in the ground, it's more labor intensive. And also, you know, there's more maintenance. Now, if you want to change the bed, like I said, the plants get a little too big or something and you need to change the bed, then you've got to pull out all the plastic edging or the rock or brick that you've incorporated in the ground, where this method that I've used was where you just put the straight edge towards the lawn side, even though it's not so straight anymore. Like I said, this has been in 20 to 35 years in spots. You put that towards the inside, and then it's, you know, like I said, you can see where it stayed fairly straight, especially as you get further away from it. You can see it still has a nice, pretty pleasant line to it. So another little tip I'll say on the rock as well is it'll tend to get algae and fade, kind of like your concrete driveways and walks, and people tend to want to power wash them. Now what I do every a few years, 3, 5, 6 years, I'll take some bleach and put it in a backpack sprayer or a little hand sprayer, and I'll go along and spray the rocks, and that really shines them up. I just did these last year, so really brightens them up and makes them look like you've just put them in, even though these are 20, 30 years old. And it's been out in the, my yard's really shady. You can't tell with all the leaves off, but in the summer it's pretty shady back here. So a lot of, you can see a lot of the mosses and different things growing. So the rocks can look pretty, blend in and not be so bright and shiny. So that's a little inside tip. Works on concrete, pavers. So I'm a big fan of the bleach. And surprisingly, it really doesn't have much effect on the lawn. Obviously, if you poured the whole gallon in the middle of your yard, you're gonna have a brown spot, but seems to grow, whatever it does, it tends to grow back. So I've rarely killed anything with the bleach. So, but that's, you guys, just wanted to share some of the tips, and maybe you can share some additional ones. I know I'm always getting into these videos and then I forget different ones, but or things I'm speaking about, because there's not always, I don't have this written down or rehearsed or anything. I just get an idea and get out and start rambling about it. So, but I've been doing this, this is my 41st year. Started when I was 19, I'm now 60. So some of my methods with laying out in a bed, you know, making it easy to cut, getting around. A lot of times you don't leave enough room, and it's kind of like small gates in people's property. People will put in a 36-inch gate, and really that's not adequate. I think near 60, you know, some inch gates, you know, so you can get maybe a bobcat back in there or different equipment. It's really difficult when you have a gate that's, you know, 32, 36 inches, then even, you know, trying to cut the yard. So being full service, I think about all these things. So I try to maybe walk you around here and show you a little bit more since we got a few minutes. But over here we've gotten some erosion plus the dog runs, so but I'll show you some of the possible issues here. And then here, instead of since it's kind of a straight run, I put little put the rocks out, make little water breaks to shoot the water out into the grass more, so you don't have just a big run, because we have a lot of wash here on the corner of the property. And like I said, that's been in quite a few years. I've never straightened it, but it's gotten pretty rough, so it certainly could use some. And then down here is an example where you might get a little tight and can't get the equipment, a bobcat or mower. So this is a minimum. I would say it's about the 55-inch gap there. So always be thinking about that when you're laying in beds and stuff. But really, I like the rock. I don't know if the camera catches it or everything, but you can kind of see how it really jumps out and brightens up the trees and highlights everything. And normally in the summer there's flowers and hostas around all these trees as well, so I just think it really adds a lot of beauty. It's expensive nowadays, but thing you got to keep in mind, it's a lifetime investment. So this rock here was with the house originally, and this house is 80 years old. So you buy it once, and it's a lifetime thing. So in the long term, rock will outlast the railroad ties and any other material get. Even metal rust and plastic gets brittle, and the rock, you can always straighten it out and do things. So this is kind of a nice little corner there. I've got a limelight hydrangea, which is one of my favorite plants in the landscape. So just some tips and thoughts. So make it easy to cut your grass and maintain your property, and give you enough room to plant things, and I would suggest the rock. So there you have it. If you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them, and I'll get back with you. So, well, that's it from the homestead, and hope everybody had a great weekend. It's supposed to rain tomorrow here in Ohio on Sunday, and today was beautiful. Overall, Thanksgiving was a great weekend. It's about 50 to 65 each day and sunny, and it's supposed to rain sometime after dark. So that's my time and some of my tips and thoughts on edging and trim around your landscape and stuff. All right, thanks for watching. Have a great day.